The sea, vast and infinite, holds countless mysteries beneath its waves. Among the tales of mariners and adventurers, there is one that stands out, a legend that sends shivers down the spines of even the bravest sailors. This is the story of the ghost ship that still sails. It was a moonless night when Captain Samuel Blackthorne and his crew set sail from the bustling port of Charleston. The air was thick with the promise of adventure, but little did they know, they were venturing into the heart of a nightmare. As they navigated through the open sea, the wind howled like a banshee, and the waves crashed against the hull of the ship with a ferocity that matched the growing unease among the crew. Captain Blackthorne, a man of unwavering resolve, stood at the helm, his eyes scanning the horizon. The night was eerily silent, save for the distant cry of a lone seagull. Suddenly, a dense fog began to roll in, enveloping the ship in an impenetrable shroud. The temperature dropped, and a chill ran down the spine of every man on board. Through the fog, a faint, ghostly light appeared, casting an eerie glow on the water. As the ship drew closer, the outline of a massive galleon emerged, its sails tattered and its hull covered in barnacles. The name, the Siren's Wail, was barely visible on the rotting wood. Captain Blackthorne knew immediately that this was no ordinary ship. It was the legendary ghost ship that haunted the seas. The crew of the Siren's Wail, long dead, were said to be cursed to sail the seas for all eternity, seeking revenge on any who crossed their path. As the two ships drew closer, the ghostly crew became visible, pale, gaunt figures with hollow eyes and skeletal hands. Their captain, a fearsome figure with a tattered coat and a tricorn hat, stood at the bow, his eyes glowing with an otherworldly fire. Captain Blackthorne ordered his crew to prepare for battle, but the ghostly ship seemed to move of its own accord, gliding effortlessly through the water. The fog thickened, and the sounds of ghostly whispers filled the air. The crew of the Blackthorne ship could hear the haunting melody of a woman's voice, singing an eerie, sorrowful tune. The ghostly crew began to board the Blackthorne ship, their skeletal hands reaching out to grasp the living. The crew fought valiantly, but their weapons passed through the ghostly figures as if they were made of smoke. Panic set in, and the men began to fall, one by one, to the ghostly onslaught. Captain Blackthorne, realizing that conventional weapons were useless, retreated to his cabin in search of answers. He rifled through his charts and journals, searching for any mention of the Siren's Wail. Among the dusty tomes, he found a journal that belonged to his ancestor, Captain James Blackthorne, who had once encountered the cursed ship. In the journal, Captain James recounted the tale of a beautiful maiden named Isabella, who had been wronged by the crew of the Siren's Wail. Seeking vengeance, she had cursed the ship and its crew to sail the seas for all eternity, their souls forever bound to the ghostly vessel. The only way to break the curse was to find Isabella's locket, which had been lost at sea, and return it to her resting place. Armed with this knowledge, Captain Samuel Blackthorne emerged from his cabin, clutching the journal. He ordered his men to search the ship for the locket, hoping against hope that it had somehow found its way onto their vessel. As the battle raged on, the crew scoured every nook and cranny, their fear driving them to move with a frantic urgency. After what felt like an eternity, one of the crewmen found the locket, tangled in the rigging. It was a delicate silver pendant, engraved with the initials IB. Captain Blackthorne knew they had found Isabella's locket, but the challenge now was to return it to her resting place. The ghostly crew, sensing the presence of the locket, became even more aggressive. The air crackled with supernatural energy as the spectral figures closed in on Captain Blackthorne and his men. With no time to lose, the captain ordered a daring maneuver: sail directly into the heart of the storm that had been brewing on the horizon. The ship lurched forward, the wind howling and the waves crashing against the hull. The ghostly ship pursued, its crew determined to reclaim the locket. As they sailed deeper into the storm, the ghostly whispers grew louder, merging with the thunderous roar of the tempest. Captain Blackthorne and his crew fought to keep the ship steady as they approached the coordinates mentioned in the journal, Isabella's resting place. The storm raged with a fury that seemed almost sentient, as if the very elements were conspiring to prevent them from breaking the curse. Through the driving rain and the crashing waves, they spotted a small island, its shores shrouded in mist. The captain knew they had found the place. With great effort, they navigated the ship to the island's shore, where the remnants of an old chapel stood, barely visible through the fog. Carrying the locket, Captain Blackthorne and a small group of his bravest men disembarked, making their way to the chapel. The ghostly crew followed, their hollow eyes fixed on the locket. Inside the chapel, they found a weathered gravestone marked with the name Isabella Blackthorne. Captain Blackthorne placed the locket on the gravestone, and immediately the ground trembled. The ghostly crew halted, their forms flickering as if caught between two worlds. A blinding light filled the chapel, and the spirit of Isabella appeared, her ethereal form radiating a sense of peace and forgiveness. With a soft, sorrowful smile, Isabella's spirit addressed the ghostly crew. "Your souls are free," she whispered, her voice carrying a warmth that dispelled the cold. One by one, the ghostly figures dissolved into the light, their curses lifted. As dawn broke, the storm cleared, and the air grew still. Captain Blackthorne and his remaining crew returned to their ship, exhausted but relieved. The Siren's Wail was nowhere to be seen, its ghostly presence finally laid to rest. The legend of the ghost ship that still sails became a cautionary tale among sailors, a reminder of the power of curses and the importance of seeking redemption. Captain Blackthorne, forever changed by the experience, continued to sail the seas, his heart heavy with the memory of that fateful night. Years passed, and the tale of the ghost ship faded into obscurity, becoming just another legend whispered among mariners. But on nights when the fog rolls in and the sea is eerily calm, some say you can still hear the haunting melody of Isabella's song, a reminder that the sea never truly forgets.